Welcome to the Run Strong Run podcast, where I amplify inspiring voices from the back of the pack and loudly proclaim all runners count. Without further ado, here's this week's inspiring runner. I'm so excited. I reached out to my friend Veronika. You do not want to miss her inspiring story, how we first met at CIM. What was it? Like CIM 2021? Yeah, I think it was my first year pacing. It was her first marathon. But after she finished that first marathon, she was like, I'm not done. And since then, she's done 4 more marathons and 2 ultra marathons. She's an inspiration. You're not going to want to miss her inspiring story. So without further ado, here is Veronika. Hi, Veronika. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here, and I would love to share my story. And I want to say thank you again for being the best pacer and for initiating my spark for marathons. So thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. I'll tell you what, like having you in the pace group that first year of me first pacing, it was just so awesome. And we bonded. And that's often what happens when I pace runners is there's a special bond. But I feel like you and I have even a more special bond. And I just remember like CIM 2022, when I got to the pace booth at the expo, they're like, someone dropped something off for you. And I think it's like a knitted hat. And you like even knit me a hat. That was just like the sweetest thing. And since then, since we're both like in the Sacramento area, I've gotten to see you several different times. But enough about you and I. Let's jump back to you deciding to train for your first marathon. What made you decide to sign up and train for your first marathon?
I used to think I was never a runner and, just running for exercise. And then in 2019, one of my friends said, hey, do you want to do Urban Cow half marathon? And never in my life did I ever think I could do 13 miles. And I think the most I did was like 4 miles before. I would just like run 4 miles, multiple times a week, but I never thought I could do more. But then I decided in September, and the race was in October, so I trained for a month. It was like amazing. My first long run, I did like 10 miles, and then it was like an amazing experience. And then that year I saw my friend running CIM, and I've heard about CIM before and marathons, but of course I never thought that it could be ever possible. But when I saw my friend running it and I was there cheering for her, I was like, I'm going to do this next year. But of course, next year was COVID. So that didn't happen. And so in July 2021, on my birthday, I decided that I'm going to sign up for CIM, and I signed up. And then I signed up for the training program, the Fleet Feet training program. So I guess that's how my spark to run a marathon started.
Oh, I love that. Have you only done the Fleet Feet training program that one time?
So I did it that time, and then in spring of 2022, I signed up for the Fleet Feet racing team. And so I've been in the racing team, and we have like a coach and training. So yes, I've done the different trainings with Fleet Feet. They're very helpful and supportive and nice.
Yeah. So it sounds like for the long runs, then you train with a group. Is that correct?
So there's like speed workouts on Wednesdays, which I'm trying to be in love with. I'm more of like, I will run 20 miles slow than run 2 miles fast. I don't know what's wrong with me. That's kind of how I am. But then our long runs are on Sunday. And since I got more into the trails, we do have sometimes different seasons on Saturdays. We have trail runs on Saturdays. So it's cool to have a community. And when I first joined the group, everyone has been so very nice. But I think for me, for at least a year, I was really fighting myself because I'm not that fast. And so I just felt like I don't deserve to be in that community. But then I finally was like, everyone is so nice, everyone is supportive, and I deserve to be there. And so now I feel comfortable. But yeah, it was just a big process, being the end of the packer, thinking like, oh, am I racing? But no, I do love it, and people are very supportive. So in the beginning, I would be so nervous to show up to practices because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so slow. But now everyone is so cool and supportive, and we have friends, and it's good to be in the community and to support each other.
Yeah, I can absolutely understand. I'm sure someone watching or listening to maybe feels that way too, that they cannot show up to these group runs because they are a slower runner or in the back of the pack. So what kind of helped get you over that hump to realize that, yes, you did deserve to be there?
Yeah, I think well, constant, I guess, reinforcement by the team and the coach was very helpful. A really cool thing about this team is that there are people who run super fast, like 5-minute miles and stuff like that. And then there's like a full range, and it's really cool that like everyone is encouraging. Like I would do a Strava post and like my average pace, and then like fast people are liking, saying congratulations, and on practices they're saying great job, so they're not looking down and saying, whoa, you're slow or something, so they're just like supportive. And then also I just had to do a lot of like internal work, like finding my purpose, finding what I really like to do, and finding the kind of races that suit me, things that give me passion and give me that kind of drive, and like talking to other race team members too, supporting each other. So I think that has helped me. But a big part of it, I think, is like internal mental work, working on, feeling good enough and feeling that you belong, and reading lots of motivational quotes.
Well, speaking of motivational quotes, you said a phrase as we were like towards the end of that first race marathon that we did together, as we're like around mile 20-ish. I found you to be just so motivational to myself and the group. And I love that around mile 20, you said, we welcome the discomfort. And that has stuck with me. And that's something that I still say to the marathon groups I'm pacing.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
like, we know the discomfort is coming. We welcome the discomfort.
Mhm.
So instead of like getting scared of that discomfort, instead of fighting against it, instead embrace it. So where did you come up with this phrase? Did you hear it somewhere, or explain more about what you mean by we welcome the discomfort?
Yeah, especially before the first marathon, I was reading a lot of motivational quotes for marathon runners, and I still like to do that before a race. I take a week, the whole week thinking about it, and then I like to find quotes, and I post them online, and then I choose one or two quotes that will help me through the run. And then I also every race I try to dedicate for someone. So when I'm like struggling and I feel like, why am I doing this? I'm like, okay, I'm doing it for this person that isn't able to do this. I'm doing it for them. But what the quote that quote was, I think it was, I welcome the pain cave. And I think it was from another podcast that I listened to about preparing for marathons. And so that was really cool. And then another quote about smiling, because it releases, like, I guess, chemicals in your body that helps with the pain. And I just think that like mental strength is very important. As much as we're preparing physically for a race, all the training, there's a lot that we have to do like mentally and emotionally, to prepare, for the difficult time, and for the pain and for the discomfort. And like you said, instead of being scared of it, like knowing that we can conquer it and that we can overcome it and that we are stronger, than that distress, and that it's only temporary.
I love that so much. And you're so right, because it's often said that running a marathon is 80% mental and 20% physical. Yeah, like, yes, of course, there's that physical training of preparing for a marathon, but I think people often underestimate the power of that mental work. So I
Mhm.
love what you just said, is that you, like, especially that week leading up to the marathon, like really honing in and focusing on that mental aspect, reading quotes. Some people say it's about finding a mantra that you can turn to in those difficult moments of the marathon, and then also dedicating your run to another person. So who are some people that you've dedicated your long runs to?
Oh, well, I usually do it for the races. I've gone through everyone in my family, I think. And my last race, I did it for my new sister-in-law. I think I started off with like my dad, because he's not very mobile, and then just thinking, it just like kind of like, who do I want to like think about, and also like send them vibes and stuff like that. And just like if I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm like, well, you're doing this for them. And so keep going. But yeah, so far my family.
Well, and it sounds like too, like thinking about your dad, and you just said he's not very mobile. It helps you to appreciate that, like, I have the ability to move my body for these 26.2 miles. There's an organization called Running for Those Who Can't. And I think that's the thing is like appreciating, like, no matter how uncomfortable we get in this marathon, like understanding like it's a privilege to participate in these marathons and to move our bodies for 26.2 miles. So let's now take you, Veronika. After that first marathon, how did you feel and what's kind of came next?
Yeah, so I had such an amazing experience with you, and I was so nervous for the marathon. And I actually had emailed you before about like your pacing, and I really appreciated your pacing strategy. Like I practiced it on my 20 miler before. But anyways, I had a really amazing experience with that marathon, and I was so marathon high. I was like, what can I do next? Where, being so sore on the couch. And after your first marathon, I can't do anything for 3 days. And so I was like, what can I do? And I had signed up for a Big Sur marathon through like a fundraising agency. And yeah, I didn't know what I was signing up for because, it has some elevation. So that was my second marathon. And so I did in December 2021, I did CAM. And then I took the December off because I really believe in resting and being lazy when needed. And then in January, I was like, what am I going to do? I had all these goals. I'm like, I'm going to do marathon every week. I'm like, no, that's not feasible. How about every month? I'm like, I don't think I can do, I'm not ready there yet. But I had signed up for Jed Smith 50K. And that was after my first marathon. I was like, oh, I think I can, do the 50K. But the reason I signed up for that is I had planned to power walk it. And I had already been practicing power walking because I heard there's another podcast I listened to from an inspiring person. Her name is Yolanda. And she started power walking and she would do like 2 marathons a weekend. And she like went into the Guinness World Record. And so during my first CIM training, I like did like a half marathon power walking. So I like practiced it. And so I signed up to power walk Jed Smith, and then I met a group of amazing people and I did that. So that was my first 50K, and then I did the Big Sur in April. Um,
So wait a minute. You went from it's my first marathon to Jed Smith is like beginning of February. So CIM is December, so like 2 months later, you go from marathon to ultra marathoner. And it doesn't matter whether you power walked it, walked it, or ran the whole thing. You did an ultra marathon. That is inspiring, and I love that. So you had CIM in December, Jed Smith in February, and then you went and did Big Sur in April. How was Big Sur?
Yeah, so the Big Sur was an awesome experience. The only thing is that because I started training really quickly in January and and then I did the 50K and my body felt fine, everything felt fine. But in March I started to have like pain because I had like a muscle. I should have been getting like therapeutic massages, but I didn't. And so pretty much it affected my training. I still did the 20 miler before Big Sur, but the whole time I was in pain, like the whole time I was in pain, but I felt like I had to do it. And so I didn't run pretty much a month before Big Sur. I did a lot of like cycling and stuff. And so it was an amazing experience, but I kind of was really worried about the cutoffs. And because I hadn't ran in a month, it was like kind of stressful, but I made the cutoffs. The first cutoff went smoothly. Besides, I lost my pacing group 4 miles in, and it took me until a half marathon to catch up with them. And then for the second cutoff, because I took it easy a little bit, I was like, oh, I can make it. I'll power walk. And then I had some people join me. They're like, oh, you're walking faster than we're running. I'm like, okay, join me. So we're going together. And I'm like, I was trying to inspire them and encouraging them. So we had a group. But anyways, I did the second cutoff. And then after that was like so happy. And then later on, I saw the bus with people and I was like, oh, I'm so sad for them because they had to get picked up. And then I ended up making it and I got the medal and it was like cool. I mean, the view was really beautiful. And I think if I ever do it again, which I want to in the future, I will enjoy the view more. because I was stressing about making the cutoffs.
Right.
I was like, I wasn't enjoying the view as much.
Yeah.
But I want to enjoy the view someday. And you did that race, the marathon too. How was your experience?
Yes, I did. I got to do Big Sur for the first time in 2023, my year of doing 11 full marathons. And oh my goodness, those views. I remember like about mile 6 was like the first time where you really get a good view of the ocean. And I just remember like everyone around me, I was like, oh my goodness, do you see this? Do you see this? It's so beautiful. I mean, I didn't know
Yeah.
anyone around me, but I just wanted to like tell everyone, do you see this? The view is incredible. But for those who are watching or listening who don't know, Big Sur has a pretty strict 6 hour cutoff. And so there's 2 mile markers where they say like you have to reach this mile before this time or you're at risk of being picked up because it's on this road. Isn't it Highway 1, right, in California where the marathon course is? And so they can't just leave the course closed off to traffic forever. So they have a pretty strict cutoff time. Do you remember your so you said you lost a pace group. Do you remember what pace the group that was?
So I had joined the 550 pace group, or I think that, or the 545 one, but then at mile 4, unfortunately, I had to use the potties. And so I kind of couldn't, but then I did run walk intervals, learning from you. Thank you so much. So then around the half marathon, when I hear the piano, that was really cool. For a few miles before the piano, you can hear it and you're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm getting there. So I kind of lost them.
It's a fact of life that during the race, sometimes you have to stop and use the restroom. And actually, I just recently posted a reel because a question I'm often asked is, as a pacer, what do you do when you need to use the
Mhm.
bathroom? And when I'm by myself pacing, what I do is I pass the stick to someone around me who's like holding that consistent pace, or maybe who's been with me for a while. I say, I'm gonna pass you my stick. I see a bathroom up there ahead. I'm gonna run ahead, and then when I come out, you might be like a little bit ahead of me, or you might be like right there, and it'll be easy for me to come back to your pace. But I understand that like runners who are with me in that pace group, I know that's kind of like their maximum pace. And so I know that's difficult when you're following a pace group and then you have to stop and use the restroom and then to try to like catch back up. Talk about mentally, that's really tough, like to see your pace group up ahead and you're trying to catch up to them because I've been there too,
Mhm.
where I've been using a pacer and they're up ahead and I'm trying to stick with them and that's difficult to kind of beat yourself up. So you were with the 550 or the 545 group and then you ended up catching back up to them. Is that correct?
Yes, so I caught up to them around mile 13, around the piano time, and for I had planned to power hike up the incline. And so that I think really helped me because I can walk pretty quickly sometimes uphill, especially when you're motivated not to miss the cutoff. So I joined them, but then I wasn't used to the way that they were pacing. And so I was like, oh, I'll, do what I can, my best way. And then I also had a caffeinated goo, and that's the last time I had a caffeinated goo. And then my heart rate went up. So I'm like, okay, no more caffeinated goo. So, but yeah, I met some amazing people with that race, especially after the half marathon when I started power walking, there was a lot of people in the back and like it was like really windy, but it was really hot. Like you can't have a hat on, but like it's really sunny. And so I had like I was honored to be able to like encourage some people and they were moving with me. But the sad thing at one point I had to like decide to go faster to get to the cutoff. And I felt bad, but I just remembered, the saying that everybody has their own race,
Mhm.
and so I had to move a little bit faster, but I did this one girl did make it up to the front with me. So that was inspiring. But that was really sad too because I felt bad about leaving a couple of people. So it was really hard. I don't know how, as a pacer, that's probably hard too.
It is, yes. I when runners fall off my pace group, that's why I try to get to know people's names, like in the starting
Mhm.
corrals or as we get started the race, I try to get to know people's names so that when they do, or if they do fall back, that I can turn around and I can call them by name and kind of spur them on to catch
Yeah.
back up with me. But yeah, it is tough because I can't wait or I can't slow down because I need to hit my pace time. So sometimes, like this last CIM, Bruce Malden, who we've had on the podcast earlier, who is a CIM streaker, 76 years old, just ran his 193rd full marathon. I'm sure you remember Bruce in 2021 in our
Mhm.
pace group, and we got to run with him again together in 2022, and I just ran with him for the third time. 2023, he had like a hot spot on his foot and was having some tummy troubles, if I remember correctly, and he fell off at about mile 22-ish. And so when I finished, I actually went back out for him because, you just don't leave a runner behind, especially someone like Bruce, where it's a true honor and joy that he's there on course with us. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
hard. So I can understand for you too. You bond with these runners around you, but I agree with you. Like you have your own race, and especially like with Big Sur, I know many people are motivated to get that finisher medal. They want to get to the finish line with that under that cutoff of 6 hours to receive their medal to say like I conquered Big Sur. And speaking of Big Sur, I actually have a secret to share. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm pacing Big Sur in 2024.
Can I please sign up? Oh my gosh. Is that going to be your 40th birthday race?
No, my 40th marathon for my 40th birthday, I will actually be celebrating at the Modesto Marathon at the end of March.
Ooh.
And so yeah, I'm super excited about that. March is going to be another big month for me, running 3 full marathons in March, Napa Valley, Oakland, and Modesto, pacing all of them. But yeah, so Big Sur will be close after that actually. After Modesto, I'll be then in North Carolina pacing the Coast Guard Marathon, and then at the end of April, Big Sur in California.
Well, I think that you're definitely going to help people. Like, I like how like stable your pacing is and how predictable it is. And I think that you're going to help a lot of people make it to the end. So I want to say thank you from all of us for pacing, especially Big Sur. I'm like, oh, I wish I can go with you.
Well, I'm curious because you mentioned that you didn't really like the pace strategy that your pacers had, that 550 group or 545. Because I actually, when I ran in 2023, I paced myself. My goal was to finish in 5 hours 30 minutes, and I printed a 5 hour 30-minute pace band. And I was pacing again just myself. And my strategy was I was going to run the downhills, walk the uphills, and then walk the straightaways. And for those who don't know, Big Sur, mile like 10 to 12 is like one giant uphill for like 2 miles. And then all the other parts of the race, there's also uphills. I don't remember how much total feet elevation there is. I want to say maybe close to 2,000-ish. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was my race strategy, and that's what I implemented. And I finished in 5 hours, 27 minutes.
Ooh, that's so awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. That's awesome. What pacing group are you doing this year?
I will be the last chance pace group. So either that 550 group or 6 hour group. So it'll be like you need to stick with me or you're at risk of being picked up because that's like one of my favorite groups to pace.
Yeah,
Is that back of the pack, that 6 hour
party.
young group, the party in the back. And when I
I
say
love
that,
it.
it means like we're gonna have fun, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna welcome in the pain cave, we're gonna get comfortable in the discomfort. You know, Veronika, that I have my signature pace sound.
I do. I love it. It's so encouraging and how you motivate people. Thank you so much for motivating, encouraging. When I ran with you the first time, what I really noticed from you also is that like you didn't throw any of your goo packets on the floor. You would find a garbage can and you would throw them away. So I felt that was so considerate that you did that. So yeah. Oh, I want to do another race with you. I definitely think the 6 hour group is like a party, like you get to celebrate, you're there longer. And like, I think that a misconception that I've heard from some people is that like 6 hour people are like super struggling. And yes, there's, I think, a variation of people and, different, processes. But like, I think just because you're going 6 hour does not mean that you're suffering, like, I like going at that pace because it's comfortable for me, like I'm not really stressing out. It's more about just like the endurance, and enjoying every mile. I remember the first time when I ran with you and I did more than 20 miles when we were running and I hit the over 20, I started tearing up because I've never done more than 20. And then it was like a special experience. I think like treasuring like every mile. And like whenever I'm on the trails, I like to have this like strategy, like thinking like, oh my gosh, I only have, 26 miles left, like, oh no, I have 10 miles left, trying to like, and actually like I enjoy being in the trails. So like kind of like instead of like, oh my gosh, I have 20 more miles, it's like, no, like that time will pass and you're not going to be there anymore. Those are valuable minutes. Those are valuable steps and movements with your body and your mind that you will not have again.
Veronika, mic drop. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. See, I need you to come and run and more races with me and be in my pace group because you just have all these words of wisdom. I love that so much. And yes, I think that's what's so special for myself to pace first-time marathoners is when they hit that moment of time in which they're going a distance they've never gone before. I know
Mhm.
for myself, when I ran my first marathon in 2012, I think in training, the most I'd ran was like 17 or 18 miles. So I remember that first marathon, like I had no idea what to expect in those final 8 miles because I never had gone that distance before. But just it's so special. And I just love too what you said about instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I have 10 miles left, reframing that to, "Ugh, I only have 10 miles left. Like, you know that if you keep going, whether that's a walk, whether that's a run walk, it doesn't matter. But if you just keep going and pass step one foot in front of the other, you will reach that finish line. And so time will pass. Oh, I love that so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just find it like so special to be out there. And like, it is an honor to be out there and to moving and even have the ability to, buy goose, to buy shoes. Like, all of this stuff is expensive. And to have like the privilege of time to like training is like a lot, so I think that it's all just like a gift, like a painful gift too, especially if you get blisters, but like I almost didn't run that CIM with you in 2021 because in that Thanksgiving I was like training like crazy for my first marathon, but on Thanksgiving I was like doing my 5K walk and I sprained my ankle. It was really bad. I went to like cryotherapy a lot, local cryotherapy, and I pulled through. And I think um, Bruce gave me some ibuprofen because I was like, in pain on the marathon. But anyways, so I'm happy that I was able to make it and run with you. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I can go do the, is the Modesto one sold out? Do
It's
like
not sold out, so you can still sign up for Modesto and join me for my
a
40th birthday
party. Are you
celebration.
gonna have a cool outfit?
Oh my goodness, I haven't even thought that far. But yeah, probably I'm gonna have to figure something out.
Ooh, we can have some cake at the end.
Absolutely, with some ice cold beer.
Oh yeah, that's true. That sounds amazing. Oh, I was thinking of something. I don't know. I think like for runners, also for women too. I think like there's this thing that with when you get older, you get like more confident about yourself. And I think in our society, especially for women, there's so much pressure to be like one certain image or to be one certain way. But I think that being able to just run and move or walk, power walk, regular walk, all of that, lately I've been doing a lot of like trying to like look at myself and say, I'm thankful for you, body,
Mhm.
because we're all self-critics, like you said earlier. But we have the opportunity to like run, walk. And I think I've been trying to say that to myself because as a woman, I'm like trying to be this once, in our media, our society, to be this perfection. But our bodies, our minds are already beautiful and we have the opportunity to go out. And so, yeah, in our community running, like there's pressure, like, oh, will they accept me? Do I look like a walker or a runner? So I'm personally doing that reflection for myself, like saying, I thank you, body, I thank you, body.
Multiple times you've given me chills, and that just gave me chills again. I just love that so much that yes, we often have this societal pressure for our bodies to look a certain way. Or maybe you're listening to this episode and you are scared to sign up for your very first race because you feel like you don't look like a runner. Will other people look like me at this race? Maybe you're a back of the packer and you're scared to sign up for that first race. But remember, you are a runner and you are deserving to show up to that race and to toe the starting line and to finish and look at your body, look at yourself in the mirror, and exactly what you just said, Veronika. Say, body, I thank you. I'm thankful for this body. I'm thankful that this body, whether if you're a mom, has birthed some children, I've birthed two children. I'm thankful that this body, I can breathe. I have two working hands and arms to give hugs. I mean, just that there's so much power in gratitude. And again, just like when we're traversing a marathon, running a marathon, 26.2 miles, I often say that too to my pace group is like, approach this mile with gratitude, be present in this mile. Don't think about how many more miles we have to go, but just be present in right now in this moment. Don't think about where you want to be. Don't think about what you want to have or what you want your body to look like. Just be present and grateful for this moment. So powerful. Oh my goodness, Veronika, I love that.
Oh, I love all of your encouragement and support. And yeah, thank you for, getting me into, loving, marathons. I think just having that first experience, because I was so nervous. I had no idea what I was getting into. Having that good experience really, like got me into into long distance running and just being out there and finding things that I like to do. Because I don't know, for my third marathon, I started the training, but I was so busy at work and it honestly just became like another to-do list. And I was just like, I couldn't get into the mentality and the mindset. And so that's why I like sold my CAM in 2022. But then I joined you at the Parkway and I was like, at the 20-mile, I was like, I'm just going to go maybe do 6 miles, and then I ended up doing it with you. And then I got like a FOMO. And of course I bought someone's, CIM that they were selling it. But after that, I learned like, at least for me, just the way that my brain works, I have to find something that I'm really interested in, something that excites me. So like, it's not like a duty for me. That's something that I just want to do. That's something interesting. And maybe other people aren't doing it, or maybe it's like a cycling thing, but something that's going to make me excited, not like become a chore. So just how my brain works, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that marathon training burnout is real and it's something to be aware of. And I think sometimes people in marathon training, like I'm someone who for a while, probably in 2021, I had just given birth to my second child. And so I called myself a weekend runner. I only ran like a 5K on Saturday and then like a long run on Sunday. So I trained for a marathon for CIM 2021 with only running 2 days a week. I mean,
You
so I
were
think
amazing.
is that ideal? No, it's not ideal, but I think remember, like if you're really struggling, don't feel like you have to go out for a run. Like it's okay if you miss a run on your marathon training plan. Like don't get to that point where you're so stuck on like sticking to your marathon training plan with perfection that you lose the joy of it. I think that's the message I want to spread, and what I'm about is if you're not enjoying it, like it's not worth it. Fortunately, I enjoy my day job, my 9 to 5 job. I, of course, love marathon pacing. I love the marathon distance. It takes a certain kind of special, unique person to love going out and spending 6+ hours moving your body. But I do it because I love it. And I think that, Veronika, is definitely important to remember.
Yeah, and I like what you said about, being flexible with your training schedule, like really listening to your body and, getting enough sleep, getting enough food. Like if you don't feel like working out, don't, like you're not going to enjoy it. You can get injured. Just like take time. If you need to be lazy on the couch, do it, and I think for me, I'm more flexible and I really like, what is it? I forgot the period when you have to realize like
The
downtime. You're not.
tapering.
I love the tapering. I'm like, I'm so ready for the tapering. I think for the CIM in 2022, I like tapered the whole time. So that was like my tapering schedule. But yeah, I agree with you. Your body and your mental health is more important, to feel like you're rested and
Yes.
feeling like you deserve to be there and that you've got this, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Veronika, like you are just like the world needs more of you because I just love that I often see you out volunteering at races or expos. I love that you are at races cheering us on. Like at Run the Parkway 2023, you were just out there cheering for us and like giving you a hug during that 20 miler was like the best thing ever. Like your just energy and your inspiration and your motivation and encouragement. That's why I wanted you here on this podcast because people needed to hear your words. You are an amazing person. I know this is not the last we're going to see of each other. We're going to run more races together. Hopefully, Modesto 2024
Oh
to
yeah.
celebrate your 40th birthday. Everyone's invited. Let's make it a party in Modesto.
Party.
Um, but where can people find you? Because again, you're just so inspirational. Where can people find you or send you a message?
Well, first I want to say that when you messaged me, you be on the podcast? I'm like, I don't think I have anything worthy to say. Like I just started in this. So as a disclaimer, I'm not that experienced. I'm not that knowledgeable. Get a coach and listen to them. Don't listen to me. But if you need some encouragement or anything, I'm so happy to be there. But yes, I'm on Instagram at the Yogi in You.
Okay. Well, very good, Veronika. Thank you again just so much. The world needs more of you and I need to see more of you. So thank you again for coming on and sharing your story of how you went from first time marathoner to now you've ran 5 full marathons and 2 ultra marathons and you're unstoppable. Actually, that's the one question I didn't ask you is what's next? What do you have upcoming next?
So I have the race in Jed Smith. I think you're going to be there too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then I have this thing. I'm not saying my races because they sometimes don't happen, but I guess I'll say I'm planning to do the Marin Ultra Challenge again in March, which is the hardest race I've ever done. And when I was doing it, I was like, I'm never going to do it, but I want to do it again. So that's so far my next races, and I do have like a longer distance planned. But I hope to be able to do a 50 miler in the next few years. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it sounds like definitely you've caught this bug of this long distances. I mean, you're now going further than I've ever gone. Like I've never done a 50K. So I just absolutely love it.
We should do one together. That would be amazing. We go at a comfortable pace. And for me, it's just being out in nature, away from like technology. And I just like to talk to people, eat lots of food, have Coca-Cola, and just have fun out there and look at nature. So like, I'm not that fast, but I just like to be there. So I would be honored for you to join me on one of these sometime.
I think we need to make this happen. I love it.
Yay. And thank you again for being so inspiring and so supportive. I've told so many people about you and about your pacing and your encouragement. Like you really made my first marathon and preparation to it very successful and stress-free. And I tell people like, if you don't want to stress, just go with Steph because she has a plan and she'll get you there. And you're inspiring. So thank you for, getting me into the marathon in a very amazing positive way. And I'm so honored to know you. And I can't wait to celebrate your birthday and see all the amazing things that you're doing this year.
Well, thank you so much, Veronika, for your sweet words. And I'm sure we're going to talk soon. So I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Run Strong Run podcast. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Run Strong Run or through my website at runstrongrun.com. You can support this podcast through a rating, review, or share. Until next time, run strong and run happy.